reminder if you've been away or if you're just joining us now. Ground Zero, they are the league's leaders and they currently lead 1-0 in this series. And actually, look at that. Look at the lane swaps we've got. We've got Jovi playing the Skarner top lane. We've got Styx, their AD carry, as the mid laner on Ahri. And 225 has just bullied them all off and says, no, look, I'll play support.
Okay, this is really, really interesting. So 225 is actually a very good center. Styx off-roll champion is the Ahri. So, he's pretty comfortable playing on the mid lane. We get to see the, fake Ahri skin finally come out. And maybe Fido will be a bit caught off with, how nice the skin is in the fall down lane in the 1v1 to the off-roll. But, I haven't seen Zovi play much off-roll, so I'm not too sure how it's going to look. But they're adapting to what they were provided with, with losing their top laner. And I think this is a nice setup from them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disappointer. I suppose a bit of a dampener on what we sort of had as high hopes for this series, right? Not going to be working at full capacity for the side of Iron to try and bring it back into Game 2. But, things like this occur from time to time. It does really suck then for Doraemon to not be able to play it out and, try and bring their team back into a favourable position. But that is where we find ourselves right now. That is at least from the Iron side of you. Whereas for Evelyn, this will be his second time now playing the LCO. Dazzled on that brand. I suppose he had the the best performance to go back off. It's almost like he's just the mini Schönfire. You played the brand last series. Okay, last game you played the Lilia. I'll play it too now.
Yeah, that's what we've seen the same repeat, and I think that Evelyn is a lot more gank heavy than Schön. Schön's all about, when you show somewhere, I'm going to steal your camp. So I think, last time we saw Evelyn on the brand, it was like, you showed somewhere, I'm going to gank this lane that you can't respond to anymore. And a lot of that attention was being put towards top, where Thien was playing this Camille into Renekton, and he really snowballed that matchup in a very good way to make sure his top lane was able to carry. And I'm going to see if there's going to be the same thing with this matchup on the top lane, because you wouldn't really expect a jungler to put much attention into this tank versus tank.
You wouldn't think so. And, certainly could be impressed by what occurs as a result of this one. You talk about the need to have a double AD carry set up. I suppose the Kindred, to a degree, kind of functions in that regards to give you the benefit of the doubt. I have seen Goodo play it from time to time as well, showing a fair degree of comfort on the champion. So it's going to be exciting to see what Cole Lees looks like in this one.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Kindred. I don't think it's necessarily a bad matchup into the Lily. You can play your range, and if he doesn't miss the initial spells, because Kindred is very mobile, it's such a good matchup in the 1v1 when you do not find the angle to hit that sleep, and it's also one where you can really bully in the early game. But once again, we're seeing Cole Lee looking for ganks, looking for camps, looking for aggression in the early game, and he's showing on vision, which means he might end up losing his camps again.
Certainly could. Let's see if that does come to fruition or not, as Styx is holding his own in the mid lane as it stands right now, weathering the storm, which is a very informed Fido. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, get to see just how fed this time Kench can get. And see if they can be the menace, the saving grace. I mean, we talked about this a few times, right? When you've had a composition that's built around one crucial member. The need to have a Tahm Kench, especially when Vi is up and available. But given that, AP junglers have been that much more impactful in recent patches, maybe not the highest priority right now. Either way, though, to top lane we go. Jovi certainly giving Tien a run for his money at this stage, but his worst enemy might become his mana pool in a second, as he's about to run dry, and Tien can continue to harass and just pick up those blobs of HP.
Yeah, he's going to end up pulling the way, so he's going to feel very comfortable to deny a couple CS or some experience from Jovi. He's going to have to recall and TP back before he comes back that way. But we get to see, because of Coley going for that early check into the jungle and find out what was happening with Evelyn's path. He is a bit delayed on the reset. We already see Evelyn with the purchase of his item coming back onto the map, and Fido, who has the win wall here, is going to be pretty hard to gank.
Yeah, very difficult, right? All those projectiles can simply be countered by a basic ability, which definitely does feel bad, man. But either way, into the bot lane we once again have a bit of insight as to how this one is playing out, and I'm sure a passive lane really does favor this. Back when the Smolder did come to life, we were asking ourselves, how do you counter this champion? What is the answer? And I think one of the premier solutions was just scale alongside it, be it the Kaiser or be it the center.
Yeah, and it's not so much the same case anymore. Smolder isn't that absolute nuke in the, hit the execute, the game is over anymore. It's going to be very strong when it does find execute, but it's not, so overpowered anymore that you have to really play around that. As you do see a lot of trading happening in the mid lane, this is always going to favor the Yasuo side. You have the sustain from your Doran's item, you have the fleet footwork. Usually you see the Doran shield come out because Yasuo doesn't really have much pressure in the early game, especially against these range champs who should be winning out on these trades. But I think Styx, for someone who's not familiar with the role and probably not familiar with how the trades go exactly, I think he's doing a pretty good job in the early game. Going to end up catching this wave and probably looking for a reset if Fido doesn't try to dive his heal.
Yeah, it could be a scary situation right now as Fido with that level 6 advantage literally goes underneath the tower just to showcase that, hey, I've got the pressure right now. Both junglers actually going to get drawn into the mid lane just to assist. One to help them get back to base, the other to help push in that wave to make sure that so much is denied. But there is a TP. And here we go. A bit of center rotations, right? Very much akin to the Limes style of play, where leave lane as quickly as you can and really be that support all across the map. Coley getting a bit aggressive now, looking to try and bully out Evelyn, force him back to where he came from, sort of flash forward. Really nice wind wall. Otherwise, that jungler certainly could have been in trouble. It's going to take such a long time to run them down. And in the end, finally, after that slow, they say enough is enough.
I really like that Evelyn did not flash there. I think that was a pre-communication from Fighter saying that he has the wind wall available. And if that, flash initiation does come through, like he has his back, and it was really nice by Fighter to react to that. And they baited out the flash by 225. Bit over aggressive from him because they really have to think about the wind wall, especially when it comes to these, range-focused champions.
Yeah, so many projectiles, as we've already mentioned, are going to be blocked by that one. Even more so when it comes to the team fight. Jovi taking a 1v1 into Tien, goes for the flash. Oh no! Tried to buffer it, stuck in animation, falls on down. Would have popped the passive there of the Zac, but not to be the case. First blood going the way for Tien now, and the fight continues from where it really did left off. And around these grubs we go. Two are picked up and stolen away by Ion, but it's them that find the 2 kills instead.
Yeah, so constellation prize for Ion, they get the grubs. Maybe they're going to be able to deny away the, the extra Void Might when you get those 5 stacks. But still going to be going in the favor of Ground Zero. Solo kill found in the top lane by Thingy by a minuscule amount of health. Flash blob explosion finds that kill, luckily onto Jovi, which was very nice for him. And then Fido finding the exit kill onto 225 means that he's going to be sitting pretty in the 1v1 in mid lane.
Certainly is. Let's see how this one does continue to play on out, given the fact that it is those off rolls, and it would be a monumental feat if they could upset the tides of this one, given the current set of circumstances. But certainly stranger things have happened in the past. Now comes the ult there from Smolder, just to clear that wave from a million miles away. A little bit too strong, that one, I'd have to say, but either way, at least it's no longer base boosted 400% max volume.
Absolutely. I remember watching streams and just seeing the mum come out and just my headset just explodes. I'm like, what is going on?
Middle of a team fight, you're just screaming because you can't hear anything.
Did you see more trading happening in the top lane? Tien still has access to the cell division, so this is always going to be very favorable for him because most tanks do not have the damage to be able to take out the Zac passive when he does pop that. But Colley's still trying to be very aggressive on the map, making sure he's abusing Kindred's early game to the best of his possibilities, but even always keeping that CS lead. Same thing we see from Shern, making sure every time that Colley's showing somewhere, he's still farming and denying the marks.
Okay, so Daybreak then look to go for that stun, flash forward to guarantee a 2-man sleep, but inside the Lambs Respite, they look to try and find a little bit of safety. The heal is good and is allowing them to try and turn this fight around. Unfortunately not, as Evelyn opens up the account in a winning affair. 2 kills to be found, then Fighter disengages away, skirting the line between Death and Pure Danger. Then there goes the bowling ball, and then Kurak underneath the tower. The support gets it done, and they just absolutely wipe the floor with Ion.
Yeah, and that's just a really unfortunate interaction with R. Styx goes for the execution onto Fido, but the way Spirit Rush works is when you lose vision, these these little orbs do not go to these champions. You need to have vision of them to be able to do damage. So he loses vision at the last second and doesn't take damage from the last stack of the Ahri ult, and Styx walks straight into the bowling ball and falls over.
It does feel pretty bad on an occasion, but either way, it's a chance then for Ground Zero to showcase just how strong they are. Oh, real unfortunate there from Jovi with the Impale, the wind-up. Just the wrong direction. And unfortunately unable to drag this Zac into that tower to help even up this HP deficit. Not going to find any safety with his jungler there to bail him out right now, as Coley is preoccupied with his own red buff respawn. As for Evelyn, well, let's forget about it, because Tien just says, you know what, I can get it all done on my own.
Yeah, and as easy as that for Tien, he finds a little advantage by the misplay from Jovi and he punishes it, and that's such a common theme we're used to seeing from Ground Zero. Any advantage they find, they use it to punish, and this could be another one.
Solify looking for it, the Abyssal Dive is cancelled, so the Devour is nice, but it's not enough, even inside that Mist and Shrouds. It's a double kill, and Evelyn says, I really am Schönfire Jr., I am 4-0-1, so incredibly fed, and we might also find a tower at 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're seeing the same performance from last game out of the junglers. It's very similar. Pick the Lilia, farm up much faster than your opponent, and just completely take on these games. I think that Evelyn is just, more aggressive when it comes to the ganking. Used to seeing Shern a lot more respect to his opponents when it comes to, outplaying the ganks and just being a more efficient jungler. We see Evelyn being the person who likes to punish people out of position.
It's pretty terrifying now when you see they actually get a chance to go back to base and spend up all of their gold. 3 long swords for Fido. He really wants to be aggressive in this lane, but the real winner has to be this Lilia. 9 stacks on the Dark Seal, and a Leandries with tier 2 boots as well. It's criminal to be this far ahead this early on.
Ooh. Yeah, that is very scary to look at the inventory of Evelyn right now, and he can just absolutely slap his wallet on the Ion roster and run any teamfight he wants right now.
Certainly can. You can even see Tien getting a little bit bored of top lane, actually peels away to try and force the gank in the mid. Has forced out a lane swap as well. All the attention put towards this next set of grubs, spawning in just under 5 seconds now. And with the first 2 going the way of Ion, it'd be a bit of a win if Ground Zero were able to deny the next 3.
Yeah, and Ground Zero recognize they're stronger everywhere on the map, so they want to match, they want to be around these objectives as much as possible. They don't really care about the lane assignments. And it's more aggression coming out of the Ground Zero bot lane is going to equal a one-shot onto this member who does not have any tenacity. This is the strength of, you know, Leona setting up the press the attack Smolder. You know, Mum does a lot of damage, especially when you start picking up more stacks.
Yeah, between the Mum and the Sneeze, that Smolder is viral. So much damage. And Coley had the flash, had the ultimate, but just stun-locked and had to watch his own demise. A real tragic set of events there, and it might be not just be done. They might be looking for more. As Jovi, locked underneath this tower, says, I need some assistance. Comes in the TP, the Dawning Shadow from the mid lane up to top. That might be good enough. And then Sticks with that TP finds success, finds that Spirit Rush recharge, and finds one. Gets a second with a big shutdown and says, can I find even more? And the Smolder reminds them, no, you can't.
Yeah, Lemus just hits him with the Sneeze on the exit and is like, oh, hell no. A bit too much damage coming out of Lemus right now. Sticks does not want to be near that, especially without, you know, having much health to his name. And it's going to be a very nice counter gank coming out of Ion. So they're on the board now. TP coming out of Jovi to cover the wave, but, you know, Tien's doing so well in the side lane. You see how Fetty is going to take down this turret, and I do not think this will be Hex Flash living.
The turret is dead, and yeah, Hex Flash might be dead in a second as well. There you go. And say, let's bounce. And unfortunately, it's just going to be the most anticlimactic battle of 2 bruises, desperately low on HP. As Tien says, I need to try and get a slappy hands, but with Sticks revealing himself, he instantly slingshots away.
Yeah, we see Fido just going for a dive straight onto Coley, but he does have access to the Lamb's Respite, so not going to be a kill he's going to be able to find. Just a lot of pressure coming out of him.
Kieran wants it still. He just walks straight at the tower and says, I'll tank up 1 turret shot because that's as quick as you will die. Even now, yet another kill to his name. And we asked the question last series, or last match rather, how do you shut down Schönfire? Well, how do you shut down Evelyn?
Yeah, this is just the same story we're seeing again. Another aggressive play coming out of Ground Zero. We see where's Lemus going to pop out in the wall because currently he is inside it.
He's actually so mind control. Where am I? Hits the ult, just flashes to get unstuck from the wall. And then in the end says, you've gone to the alcove. Yeah, there's no escape.
Season 14 champions, you know, Season 13 champions will take you through walls. The Season 14 champions will leave you stuck inside walls, Gibby. As we do see the replay here, we see, you know, this is the aggression coming out of Jovi, which I assume, you know, finds a solo kill here because Lemus is by himself, and this is the strength of Skarner in that 1v1. So, you know, even though Lemus did find that payback solo kill onto Jovi, he initially found the 1v1 onto him, and it's going to feel like he won out in the end.
Well, that's it, right? The tone was set, so it's a win. And it's, you know, look, you lost to me, and I'm off-rolled. How bad must that feel, right? So small minor victories on the Twitch front page there. But either way, 40 minutes into this one, as those turret plates fall on down, the gold lead goes up by about 7,000. Very comfortable would Ground Zero be. But for the fact that Iron continue to show that they aren't afraid and want to group up and invade.
Yeah, we start to see some completed eyes coming out of Ion. They are being the ones aggressing onto the Dragon. You know, Tien flying past will spot this, but we see Evelyn once again trading the objective. Top camps are spawning on the Ion red side of the map, so if they want to walk in afterwards, steal away those camps, that is going to be even more gold going into the pocket of Evelyn.
That certainly is the case. The Herald would be very nice to try and claw back some of this gold, some objective bounties on the map for them to claim if they can just get them. So they will get that Dragon, and they will find that Zenith Blade. Instant response is the Spirit Rush away to safety, as Styx looks to try and channel his inner Faker and find a dash in for a charm, maybe hunt for one of those picks. But Ground Zero showing a lot of respect and making it very difficult for the likes of even an Ari or even a Skarner to do doughies in the mid lane and find a kill.
Yeah, just does a donut, you know, tries to bait out a little bit of disrespect from Ground Zero. There's going to be an angle for him to find the Impale if they don't really respect it, but they do, so he just has to do the circle. And as we were talking about, Ground Zero has that angle to invade onto Coley. Still doesn't have any tenacity, so if Correct does find the engagement to him, it will be a one-shot happening again. Going to be a smite fight, which will favor Coley because he has his smite, even used his on the objective he took earlier. And unfortunately, don't find the cans, but they're going to find map control and maybe the mid tower here.
And they certainly are. 2 towers to the name already. Third not too far away from finding it as well, as that's a really nice flash away. Otherwise, if it wasn't for Kurak, Tien was certainly locked in to try and take him on down. The pressure swarming from every single angle. And 3 towers might soon become 4. Shelly breaks open a tier 2. The Void Grubs get to work as well. They put one member to sleep, and he pops out of that Devour. Coley trying to stay topped up and healthy, but it's just not going to persist. Meanwhile, Fido dies in the side lane. Styx putting in work here, and maybe he is showing that little bit of inner faker.
Yeah, Styx finds the solo kill onto the Yasuo in the side lane, so curious how that happened. I can't wait to see the replay. You can see this absolute, Chovy versus Faker in the side lane here. Fido playing the Yasuo, finds the initial knockup. Doesn't have the win wall when he initiates onto Styx for the tower dive, so I believe, it's going to be a nice flash into cutting around the tower, and, thought he got enough damage on the exit, but he didn't. Ari got to sustain up thanks to the passive, and Styx just completely outplayed him there, Skimmy. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really, really nice, all things considered, quite honestly, as we come out of that one and unfortunately see Lemus collapse in the mid lane, but back to base he goes. Essence Reaver as well as the big sword. So, Spear Trojan, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Shouldn't have any issues with those cooldowns. And should be able to sneeze to his heart's content. Meanwhile, Tien continues to be a bit of a pest here. He's 2-0, yet to have that passive popped. And he's able to showcase that, look, this can be a carry, but it's mainly a tank, but is so good at being a disruptor.
Yeah, 225 doesn't have to flash, so if Tien does find any knockup onto him, it's going to be the ult follow-up from Fido.
Yeah, 225 tries to run up and realizes that somebody else is there as well. There is no reprieve. Where do I go? Back to base is what they tell him. Down for 20 seconds. Meanwhile, Solitary comes out in the mid lane looking for Jovi. The stun is nice, but the slow was that much better because they can lock him down, root him in place, cycle through extra layers of CC, and just pick apart the members of Iron one by one.
Yeah, and these are these TPs, triple TPs coming out of Ground Zero. Tien uses his priority in bot lane, TPs to mid lane, punishes Ion for, trying to overstep mid lane, and then we see Fido collapsing from the side lane, using his priority. Lemus uses his teleport to cover the sideway that pushed back in, so no resources are being lost this entire passage of play for Ground Zero.
Yeah, it's pretty steady breezing for them at this stage here as Fido just jumps in and out of that wave. We're going to try and find the initial knock-up on towards Styx, who once again goes for the charm, finds his measure. Look at the healing, look at the shooting, look at that sustain! Fido completely runs it back and finds a double kill.
Yeah, and it just feels like Coley never has a good angle to pop the Lancer Spite. If he popped it there, that means Fido lives, and then they won't be able to find that kill and exit there, but with another teleport coming in, this might be another favorable situation for Ground Zero.
It's just relentless. Make it end. Make it stop at this stage. You've TP'd into a Skarner Impale. He tries to drag you back to their side of the base. Instant flash to the safety of that wall. And they find yet another pick. This is a very sloppy game. Feels much more of the for fun agenda. But either way, it's pure entertainment at this point as Evelyn, with no mana, with little HP, is riding and saying, Tien, please bring them together. And once he does do that, it's just a little bit too late. He'll start to bounce around and call upon the rest of his team to assist. But Kurak's low, he wants to go back to base. And Lemus, he just wants to farm.
The quality might not be high, Skimmy, but it is action-packed. It is an absolute pleasure to view this game. We're seeing so much action happening from both teams. There's
skill expression where the stakes wouldn't be anywhere near as high as they were otherwise, and certainly can look to try and continue those stats going in their favor. Back to base then, does go Tien. Picks up the Spirit Visage and says, if you thought it was hard to kill me before, it's going to be pretty much impossible now.
Yeah, I really do not think Tien will fall down this game. I think he's a bit too fed, even though with him blowing that flash just then, I don't think there's quite enough damage on the Ion roster or the CC to be able to deal with how fed he is right now. We used to think about him being really fed on the Camille, but we look at having this many Ions as the Baron is spawning, being so high level. It's going to be such a hard job, especially for 225 to be able to deal with the Zac.
Speaking of 225, the last time we checked in with Smolder at 205 stacks, so getting very close to the promised land of just doing all that annoying, pesky late game damage. And that's when things can truly start to ramp on up. There you see right now, 219. It will just take a couple more skill shots to land. And off we go. Out comes Mummy, spreads the word and tells them that Ground Zero want to win this game. They're up by so much gold, close to 10,000 at the start of this one. How much would they be up by the end? Lamb's Spite is there, but as that one pops, so does the HP bar from the execute of that dragon. Inside the base they go. Evelyn actually zoning them out. They can't even find any safety inside their fortifications as Jovi, the last man standing. He knows it's a lost fight. He knows it's an uphill battle, but he will concede himself in the end for the ace.
Yeah, the fight looks quite, could go anyone's way. It was looking like a lot of trades happening, but then Evelyn finds that huge sleep on the end, 3-man sleep onto every member, splits up the entire team, and it just ends up being such a one-sided affair because of how much gold, how much experience is in the pocket of Ground Zero right now.
Yeah, far too strong, and really has been from the very get-go in this one. The fact that, the Lilia got as fed as it did, like in game 1, and really just carried on. That was too much to bear. The rest of the team have now really jumped on board that same narrative and said, yeah, we've got a bit of a freebie here to pick up, and we'll run it back with this replay to see how it initially starts, because there's Iron saying, we just got to fight our way out of this situation.
Yeah, it's Ion being the ones who aggress. So we see Hexflash, leave his partner in 225, and he doesn't have access to the Devour, so he always has to be conscious about being caught out of this position and being the one who can fall down. But really nice charm here onto Fido, which means he gets CC'd into the wall, with the burrow CCing him up. But really nice sleep from Even. Flash Q onto 3 members, sleeps the entire team, and Lemus is going to find that easy cleanup.
So he is off to the Baron then, 21 minutes into this game. First little opportunity for them to make friends with the big purple worm. Anything left in the tank then from Iron to try and contest this one? Collie does have the flash, he doesn't have the ultimate, but can he look to go for that crazy smite steal? Kurek straight across the wall, hits him with the full CC chain and says, you cannot find it! You're just stunned in place, even with that tenacity from those Mercury treads. It is simply not enough. It was a double by Lemus at the tail end of that one, as they will take down 3 members, lose nothing in the process, and with that inhibitor already being dead, they're going for the end.
Yeah, this is going to be, Ground Zero pushing for the win here with the Baron buff, with all their members being alive on their team. Should be a very easy closeout for them. Could see Ground Zero going for something absolutely crazy, not ending the game here, skimming, knowing what we know of them, but should be a very, very easy game for them to win. Another 2 over them and more points in the pocket.
That was quite nice, that interaction. Got put to sleep. Still out came the Stinger trying to drag them into the fountain, utilize the laser as the 6th team member. But yeah, not the ending, not the series we really expected there. Bit anticlimactic to close things out with a unfortunate circumstance of Doraemon unable to feature. Subs came in, roles were swapped around, and didn't really get to see Iron at their full capacity. But for the side of Ground Zero, yeah, another 2-0, still undefeated. Another chance for Evewin to, flex his ability. And I think a happy way for them to close out their Super Week.
Yeah, I think this was a much better performance from Evelyn. Last time we saw